Have you ever glanced at a famous face and wondered, what in the world happened to them? The reality is, numerous black celebrities have undergone such extreme physical changes that they're barely recognizable today. One legendary icon, once the picture of vitality and charisma, now appears as a frail echo of their past self, with hollowed cheeks and a distant gaze. Another star, celebrated for their rich, glowing complexion, left fans in disbelief when they reappeared with skin paler than many Caucasian celebrities. And believe it or not, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There are 23 more black stars whose shocking evolutions will leave you speechless. So, what's the real story behind these drastic changes? If you're itching to uncover the truth, keep your eyes glued to the screen. This video is about to spill all the details. Let's dive into their astonishing journeys right now. Lil Kim, the hip-hop queen's heartbreaking metamorphosis through pain and fame. Once the unshakable, bold icon of 90s hip-hop, Lil Kim radiated confidence and rebellious energy. She dominated the music scene with her chart-topping tracks and boundary-pushing fashion, reshaping the image of female rappers forever. But behind the dazzling stage lights and glamorous appearances lay a storm of suffering that no fame could conceal. In the late 90s, while the world danced to her beats, Lil Kim was silently enduring unspeakable agony. A toxic relationship turned violent when her then-boyfriend subjected her to vicious assaults, shattering her nose, scarring her skin, and even knocking out her teeth. Her face became a canvas of trauma, but the deepest wounds were the ones hidden from view. Just as she started piecing her life back together, another blow struck. A severe car accident that inflicted even more physical damage. What started as a medically necessary nose reconstruction spiraled into something far more complex. The initial surgery was meant to heal, but it became the gateway to an inescapable cycle. Haunted by the loss of her natural beauty and the emotional scars of her past, Lil Kim sought control through cosmetic enhancements. Yet, with each procedure, she drifted further from the fierce woman she once was. Over the years, her transformation grew more extreme. Fillers, facelifts, and skin-lightening treatments left her almost unrecognizable. By 2010, fans were stunned to see the once vibrant rapper with porcelain skin, exaggerated lips, and an unnaturally stiff expression. Critics labeled her a mere shadow of her former self, but beneath the judgment was a deeper narrative, one of survival, of pain masked by surgeries, of a woman searching for healing in all the wrong places. By the 2020s, Lil Kim had become a cautionary tale of cosmetic surgery addiction. Old photos resurfaced, serving as silent reminders of the striking beauty, piercing gaze, and magnetic smile that once defined her, before tragedy sent her spiraling into an endless cycle of transformation. Toni Braxton, the music legend's stunning evolution. Amidst health struggles, Toni Braxton, the legendary songstress with a voice like velvet, was once the embodiment of elegance and poise. But in 2008, her life took a devastating turn when she was diagnosed with systemic lupus erythematosus, a brutal autoimmune disease that brought her thriving career to a sudden halt. The first warning came when she collapsed during a live performance. Soon after, her body began to rebel against her. The disease drained her energy, weakened her spirit, and even reshaped the delicate features that had made her a beauty icon. She lost weight rapidly, her face grew gaunt, her nose appeared distorted, her skin lost its elasticity, and her once soft jawline sharpened into stark, pronounced cheekbones. But Toni Braxton is a warrior. In 2010, she returned to the public eye, not as the flawless diva the world remembered, but as a woman marked by the visible toll of her battle. Her face, once glowing with vitality, now bore the signs of exhaustion and chronic illness. Yet behind those weary eyes burned an unyielding resolve to reclaim not just her health, but her self-assurance. With time and courage, Toni embarked on a new chapter. She turned to subtle cosmetic treatments, nose refinements, facelifts, dermal fillers, not out of vanity, but as steps toward restoration. By 2015, she re-emerged with a dramatically altered appearance. Smooth, youthful skin, fuller lips, and impeccably sculpted features. Fans were left in awe. Some barely recognized the woman who had once stolen their hearts. She looked flawless, yes, but undeniably different, almost like a reinvented version of herself. Stunning, yet distant. And it left many questioning. Was this still the Toni Braxton they had adored? Or a woman reshaped by survival, forever transformed by pain? Jada Pinkett Smith, a feminine icon's empowering transformation through hair loss. Jada Pinkett Smith, once revered for her striking beauty and unshakable confidence, stood as the epitome of feminine elegance. Her lush, cascading hair was more than just a feature. It was a regal adornment that accentuated her commanding presence. But in 2018, her life took an unexpected turn when she began battling alopecia, a condition that slowly robbed her of the very thing she had always cherished, her hair. The emotional struggle was immense. As she watched strands of her hair fall away, grief and helplessness set in. No amount of creative styling or temporary fixes could mask the reality. The bald patches were spreading, and with them came the exhausting burden of hiding her condition from the world. Then, in 2021, Jada made a fearless, jaw-dropping choice that would redefine her public image forever. She shaved her head. Gone was the flowing, silky mane that had once symbolized conventional femininity. In its place stood something even more profound. A woman who had reclaimed her power on her own terms. With her scalp fully exposed, Jada shattered beauty standards, proving that strength and womanhood were not tied to hair. She transformed what many perceived as a loss into a breathtaking statement of resilience, authenticity, and unapologetic self-acceptance. Those who had once admired her for her looks now revered her even more for her bravery, her vulnerability, and her unwavering confidence in the face of life's harshest trials. Tracy Morgan. The laughter that faded, but the spirit that endured. Tracy Morgan was once the life of every room, his booming laughter and radiant smile lighting up stages and screens alike. A beloved comedian and actor, he seemed to have it all. Fame, a flourishing career, a devoted family, and a magnetic charm that endeared him to millions. But on the night of June 7, 2014, everything changed in an instant. Shortly after midnight, Tracy and his friends were riding in a limousine when catastrophe struck. A Walmart truck plowed into their vehicle with crushing force, triggering a horrific collision. The accident claimed the life of one of his closest friends and left Tracy clinging to survival. His injuries were catastrophic: traumatic brain damage, broken ribs, shattered legs, and a face so severely disfigured that doctors had to reconstruct it, piece by agonizing piece. For months, he fought through a haze of surgeries, relentless pain, and grueling rehabilitation. Though he survived, the Tracy Morgan who emerged was not the same man the world remembered. The mischievous twinkle in his eyes had dulled, and his once beaming smile now bore the scars of nerve damage and trauma. His face, now hardened and altered, carried the weight of unspeakable suffering. Yet beneath the visible wounds lay a different kind of power, a quiet, unyielding resilience forged in the fires of tragedy. That night stole a piece of Tracy Morgan, a piece the world would never get back. But what remained was a man who stood as more than just a comedian. He was a survivor, forever marked by his ordeal, yet undeniably stronger for it. Lark Voorhies. From beloved 90s star to a haunting transformation after mental health struggles. In the 1990s, Lark Voorhies embodied the essence of beauty. Her radiant brown skin, captivating smile, and magnetic presence made her an unforgettable star. As Lisa Turtle on Saved by the Bell, she wasn't just a television favorite. She was a cultural icon, effortlessly commanding attention with every appearance. But by the early 2010s, something unsettling began to unfold. Fans were shocked to see Lark looking like a completely different person, her once natural glow replaced by an unnaturally pale, stretched complexion. Her face, now stiff and unfamiliar, bore little resemblance to the vibrant young woman audiences had adored. The heartbreaking truth eventually surfaced. Lark was battling bipolar disorder, a condition that ravaged not only her mental state, but her physical appearance as well. In the throes of her struggle, she made drastic alterations to her looks. Excessive fillers distorted her delicate features, and cosmetic procedures erased the contours of her once iconic face. The spark in her eyes had vanished, replaced by a hollow, distant gaze. Her mother later spoke openly about Lark's condition, revealing how deeply the illness had affected her sense of self. The confident, luminous Lark Voorhies that fans remembered had faded into the past, replaced by a woman carrying the scars of both time and an invisible, relentless battle. Her transformation served as a sobering reminder of how profoundly mental health struggles can reshape every aspect of a person's life. Missy Elliott, the hip-hop pioneer's unthinkable transformation after a debilitating illness. Missy Elliott, a revolutionary force in hip-hop, redefined the genre with her innovative sound and fearless style. In her prime, she exuded unshakable confidence. Her piercing gaze, commanding presence, and electrifying energy made her an icon. But no one could have predicted how a devastating illness would alter her life forever. In 2008, Missy began experiencing alarming physical changes. Her eyes bulged unnaturally, her hands trembled uncontrollably, and her health deteriorated rapidly. She lost weight at an alarming rate, feeling like a stranger in her own body. It wasn't until 3 years later that she revealed the cause: Graves' disease, a severe autoimmune disorder that wreaked havoc on her thyroid and dramatically altered her appearance. The once powerful image of Missy, strong, vibrant, and full of life, was replaced by a frail figure with sunken cheeks and protruding eyes. Fans worldwide were heartbroken witnessing her transformation. But Missy refused to be defined by her illness. With unyielding resilience, she adapted, embracing oversized clothing, statement hats, and bold accessories to reclaim her identity. She fought not just the physical toll of the disease, but the emotional weight of losing the body she once celebrated. Through it all, she remained a warrior, proving that true strength isn't about appearance, but about perseverance, courage, and an unbreakable spirit. Sammy Sosa. From baseball hero to an unrecognizable figure, Sammy Sosa was once a symbol of power and passion in baseball. Celebrated for his record-breaking home runs and electrifying performances. With his deep brown skin and beaming smile, he became a global sports icon. But after retiring in 2009, an astonishing transformation left fans stunned. Over time, Sosa's once rich complexion lightened dramatically. His skin now appeared nearly porcelain, a stark contrast to the athletic legend fans remembered. The change sparked widespread controversy, with many questioning what had happened to the beloved slugger. Sosa claimed he used skin-lightening creams, insisting it was merely a personal preference, not an attempt to change his race. Yet the drastic shift in his appearance made his explanation difficult for many to accept. His style also underwent a radical shift. Gone were the baseball jerseys, replaced by flashy outfits and meticulously styled hair. The Sammy Sosa, who once symbolized grit and greatness, now seemed like a distant stranger to those who had once cheered for him. To this day, the true motivations behind his transformation remain unclear. But one thing is certain: the man we see now is a far cry from the legend who once dominated the diamond. Michael Jackson, the king of pop's startling transformation that shook the world. Michael Jackson, the undisputed king of pop, wasn't merely a musical phenomenon. He was a cultural force whose artistry and electrifying performances defined generations. Originally celebrated for his warm brown complexion, infectious smile, and boundless energy, Michael's physical appearance began undergoing a radical evolution in the late 1980s. The initial signs manifested as irregular white patches across his skin, later diagnosed as vitiligo, a rare autoimmune condition causing progressive pigment loss. As the disorder advanced, so did Michael's personal struggles with self-image and public scrutiny. He embarked on an extensive series of cosmetic alterations. His nose became more refined, his cheekbones appeared sculpted, and his jawline took on an angular definition. Compounding these visible changes was his battle with lupus, another autoimmune disease that further compromised his health and exacerbated his skin condition. By the mid-1990s, the transformation was startling. The exuberant performer with rich, dark skin had been replaced by an almost ethereal figure with porcelain complexion and dramatically altered facial structure. While his musical brilliance remained unparalleled, fans worldwide grappled with the jarring contrast between the Michael Jackson they remembered and the enigmatic figure he became. His metamorphosis transcended physical changes, evolving into a poignant symbol of fame's psychological toll and the private anguish hidden behind the glittering facade of superstardom. Roker, a beloved TV personality's drastic physical evolution. For decades, Roker's cheerful disposition and robust frame made him one of television's most recognizable and endearing figures. His infectious enthusiasm and comforting presence became morning show staples. However, in 2002, after years of maintaining a heavier weight, Roker received sobering medical news. At 330 pounds, his body was beginning to fail. Doctors warned that his vital organs were under severe strain, with potentially life-threatening consequences. Determined to reclaim his health, Roker underwent gastric bypass surgery, triggering one of the most dramatic celebrity transformations in recent memory. Within months, he shed an astonishing 150 pounds, but the rapid weight loss came with unexpected consequences. His once full face became drawn and hollow, excess skin sagged noticeably, and longtime viewers struggled to reconcile this gaunt version with the jovial weatherman they remembered. The physical transformation carried profound psychological impacts. While Roker gained renewed energy and health benefits, adjusting to his radically altered appearance proved challenging. The public's reaction ranged from admiration to shock as America processed seeing their familiar, comforting TV personality in such a fundamentally different form. Tionne Watkins, the silent health battle behind TLC's shining star. As the soulful anchor of groundbreaking R&B group TLC, Tionne Watkins captivated millions with her magnetic stage presence, flawless complexion, and signature edgy style. Yet during the group's meteoric 1990s success, Watkins was engaged in a private, grueling battle against sickle cell anemia, a genetic blood disorder causing excruciating pain episodes and progressive physical deterioration. The disease's relentless progression dramatically altered Watkins' appearance over time. Painful crises left her face puffy and discolored, while chronic fatigue drained the vitality from her once radiant features. Her famously thick hair began thinning noticeably, and dark circles shadowed her previously luminous eyes. Medical treatments and hospitalizations became routine, each taking a visible toll on her body. Yet through unimaginable physical suffering, Watkins's indomitable spirit shone brighter than ever. She learned to navigate the emotional challenges of watching her reflection change while maintaining an unbreakable commitment to her art. Her journey became a powerful testament to resilience, proving that true beauty persists even when the physical form undergoes profound transformation. Though the vibrant young performer of TLC's early days evolved into a woman bearing visible scars of chronic illness, her essence as an artist and survivor only grew more luminous with time. Richard Pryor, the comedy titan, whose light dimmed too soon. Richard Pryor wasn't just a comedian. He was a cultural earthquake that reshaped the landscape of American humor. With his razor-sharp wit and fearless storytelling, Pryor commanded stages with an energy that felt both dangerous and exhilarating. His performances weren't simply comedy routines. They were raw, unfiltered glimpses into the human experience that left audiences both roaring with laughter and stunned into silence. The cruel twist came in 1986 when Pryor received a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis, a merciless neurological disease that would systematically dismantle the very tools of his genius. What began as occasional fatigue and unsteady steps soon escalated into a devastating physical decline. The man who once prowled stages with panther-like grace found himself trapped in a body that refused to obey. His legendary facial expressions, those elastic features that could convey a universe of emotion, gradually froze into an unresponsive mask. By the 1990s, the transformation was heartbreaking. Pryor's muscular frame withered, his once animated hands now trembled uncontrollably, and his iconic smile, that brilliant flash of joy and mischief, became locked in a permanent grimace. Fans who had grown up worshipping his explosive energy now watched in sorrow as he navigated the world in a wheelchair, each movement a battle against his own failing nervous system. Yet even as MS stole his physical capabilities, it never conquered his spirit. In rare public appearances, Pryor's eyes still burned with the same fiery intelligence that had made him legendary. His final years became a masterclass in dignity under duress, proving that true greatness isn't measured in punchlines delivered, but in the courage to keep fighting when the laughter stops. Ndegeocello, the radical reinvention of a musical revolutionary. When Ndegeocello exploded onto the 1990s music scene, she wasn't just another artist. She was a walking revolution. With her close-cropped natural hair and androgynous style, she challenged every preconceived notion about how a black female musician should look and sound. Her bass lines rumbled like tectonic shifts, while her lyrics cut straight to the soul, creating a sound that was as visually striking as it was musically innovative. The true test came when Ndegeocello began experiencing alopecia, watching helplessly as clumps of her signature hair abandoned her scalp. Where many artists might have hidden behind wigs or treatments, she made the radical decision to shave her head completely, transforming what could have been a source of shame into a bold statement of self-possession. This wasn't just a style change. It was a philosophical manifesto etched onto her skin. The newly bald Ndegeocello emerged like a warrior queen, her bare scalp shining under stage lights as a rebuke to conventional beauty standards. In an industry obsessed with image, she dared to redefine attractiveness on her own terms, proving that true power comes from embracing one's authentic self, regardless of society's expectations. 50 Cent, the bulletproof phoenix of hip-hop. Before he was 50 Cent, the mogul, Curtis Jackson was the golden child of New York's streets. A rising rap star with matinee idol looks and a flow sharper than a switchblade. His 2000 mixtapes circulated through Queens like contraband, each verse dripping with the kind of charisma that couldn't be manufactured. Then came May 24, 2000, the day 9 bullets tried to rewrite his destiny. The ambush outside his grandmother's house didn't just leave physical scars, it forged an entirely new man. The pretty boy features that once graced album covers now bore the rugged topography of survival. A reconstructed jaw, thickened lips from nerve damage, and eyes that had stared death in the face. His voice dropped an octave, carrying a permanent rasp that made every lyric sound like a warning. But 50 Cent didn't just recover. He weaponized his trauma. Those bullet wounds became badges of honor, each scar a stanza in his origin story. Where lesser artists might have faded after such violence, he emerged harder, hungrier, and more determined. The pretty boy was gone. In his place stood a gladiator who turned near death into immortality, proving that sometimes it takes getting shot 9 times to become bulletproof. Randy Jackson, the American Idol judge, who reinvented himself. For millions of American Idol viewers, Randy Jackson was the jovial, plus-sized judge with an endless supply of dog catchphrases and a smile as warm as a southern afternoon. His larger-than-life personality seemed perfectly matched to his physical stature, until diabetes nearly ended his life. The 2003 diagnosis hit like a record scratch in the middle of his greatest success. As his weight ballooned past 350 pounds, Jackson found himself staring down the barrel of a disease that had already claimed relatives. His 2004 gastric bypass surgery wasn't just a medical procedure. It was an act of self-preservation that would completely alter his public image. The transformation was staggering. The familiar round face that had doled out critiques to aspiring singers became angular and gaunt. His skin, stretched from years of obesity, now hung in loose folds that testified to his dramatic weight loss. Longtime fans did double takes at the new Randy Jackson, leaner, sharper, but still radiating that same musical passion. More than just a physical change, Jackson's journey became a public service announcement about diabetes awareness. He traded his dog persona for that of a health advocate, proving that sometimes the most powerful transformations aren't the ones we see on stage, but those that happen within. Gabourey Sidibe, a remarkable journey of health and transformation. Gabourey Sidibe, the celebrated plus-size actress who captured hearts with her unforgettable performance in Precious, 2009, was long admired as a beacon of confidence and beauty, proving that glamour knows no size. However, in 2016, her life took a dramatic turn when she was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Faced with the harsh reality of her health, Gabby made a courageous decision. She underwent bariatric surgery, a choice that would redefine her future. The results were astonishing. Shedding a significant amount of weight, Gabby's once full figure transformed, revealing a slimmer silhouette that surprised fans worldwide. Her face, once round and soft, now showcased striking cheekbones and a sculpted jawline. Public appearances left many in disbelief. This was a Gabourey Sidibe they barely recognized. But beyond the physical changes, Gabby's journey became an inspiring testament to self-care and resilience. She didn't just lose weight, she reclaimed her life, emerging as a powerful advocate for health and body positivity, proving that transformation isn't just about appearance, it's about empowerment. Latoya Jackson, The price of perfection in the spotlight. Latoya Jackson, younger sister to the legendary Michael Jackson, was once celebrated for her natural beauty. Her radiant smile, glowing brown skin, and effortlessly elegant features made her a standout in the Jackson family. However, by the late 1980s, Latoya began to venture down a path that would forever alter her appearance: cosmetic surgery. By the early 1990s, the changes were undeniable. A series of procedures, chin reduction, multiple nose jobs, and skin-lightening treatments dramatically reshaped her face. Her once warm, sun-kissed complexion faded into an almost porcelain-like pallor, while her nose became unnaturally narrow and refined. The soft, expressive features that had defined her youth were replaced by a sharp, almost mannequin-like stiffness. Today, fans and observers look back with a sense of nostalgia, mourning the loss of the authentic beauty Latoya once embodied. A poignant reminder of how the pursuit of perfection can sometimes erase the very essence of individuality. Wendy Williams, the talk show, Titan's heartbreaking health battle. Wendy Williams, the unstoppable queen of daytime television, was known for her razor-sharp wit, fearless commentary, and larger-than-life personality. For years, she dominated the airwaves, becoming a cultural icon. But behind the scenes, a silent and insidious enemy was taking hold: Graves' disease, an autoimmune disorder that would slowly but irrevocably change her appearance. By the 2010s, the effects of the disease became impossible to ignore. Wendy's weight fluctuated wildly, swinging from drastic loss to sudden gain. Her face, once so familiar to millions, grew puffy and uneven due to fluid retention. Most jarring of all were her eyes. Bulging and wide, they became almost unrecognizable to longtime viewers. The confident, commanding woman who once ruled television now faced the world through the lens of a debilitating illness. For fans, seeing Wendy's transformation was a mix of shock and sorrow. A stark reminder that even the strongest among us can be humbled by forces beyond our control. Kanye West. The accident that reshaped a legend. Long before he became one of music's most polarizing and influential figures, Kanye West was a rising star with boundless ambition. But in October 2002, a near-fatal car crash altered the course of his life forever. After falling asleep at the wheel, Kanye's vehicle was involved in a horrific collision, leaving him with a shattered jaw that required extensive reconstructive surgery. The procedure, which involved metal plates and bone grafts, left subtle but permanent changes to his face. His jawline slightly asymmetrical, his smile forever altered. The accident didn't just leave physical scars, it marked a profound turning point in Kanye's life. Some speculate that the trauma influenced his artistic evolution, fueling the raw emotion and defiance that would define his later work. To this day, the crash remains a pivotal moment in Kanye's story, a brush with death that reshaped not just his face, but the trajectory of his career and persona. Anthony Anderson, from health struggles to Hollywood's inspiring comeback story. Anthony Anderson, long celebrated for his comedic brilliance and charismatic on-screen presence, carried more than just his talent through the early years of his career. He bore the physical and emotional weight of obesity and a type 2 diabetes diagnosis. While audiences laughed at his performances, Anderson privately battled the draining effects of his health condition, which chipped away at both his vitality and self-assurance. Then came the pivotal moment in the mid-2000s, when Anderson decided enough was enough. Armed with relentless determination, he embarked on a grueling weight loss journey that would redefine his life. The results were staggering. His once rounded face morphed into a chiseled, angular visage, and his entire physique underwent a metamorphosis so profound that longtime fans did double takes. Though the rapid transformation left some loose skin as a reminder of his past struggles, Anderson wore it as a badge of honor. His journey wasn't just about shedding pounds. It was about reclaiming control, proving that resilience and self-belief could rewrite even the most daunting narratives. Nicki Minaj, the reinvention of a rap queen into a living art piece. Nicki Minaj didn't just enter the music industry. She stormed it with a hurricane of bold lyrics, unapologetic confidence, and a persona that refused to be ignored. As her star ascended in the 2010s, so did the evolution of her appearance, morphing from a striking woman with natural charm into what many dubbed a living doll. Her once recognizable features underwent a dramatic overhaul, sculpted hips and chest that defied natural proportions, a slimmer nose, and lips plumped to perfection. Critics questioned whether she had crossed a line. But for Nicki, this was never just about beauty. It was about dominance. In an industry where image is currency, she weaponized her transformation, crafting an aesthetic so unforgettable that it became inseparable from her brand. Whether applauded or scrutinized, one thing was undeniable. Nicki Minaj didn't just adapt to the game, she rewrote its rules. NeNe Leakes, reality TV's most daring reinvention, NeNe Leakes, the unstoppable force behind the Real Housewives of Atlanta, didn't just rise to fame. She bulldozed her way into the spotlight with a personality as big as her ambitions. Yet, as her star burned brighter, so did the changes to her appearance. What began as subtle tweaks in the 2000s escalated into a full-blown metamorphosis by the 2010s. Facelifts, nose jobs, and jawline refinements transformed her naturally striking features into a sculpted, almost ethereal version of her former self. Her once full face now boasted razor-sharp contours, and her skin gleamed with an artificial tautness. While some fans lamented the loss of her original charm, NeNe stood firm. Her reinvention wasn't about pleasing others, it was about owning her narrative. Love it or hate it, her boldness cemented her status as an icon who refused to fade into the background. Vybz Kartel, dancehall's most controversial transformation. Vybz Kartel, Jamaica's dancehall kingpin, was once synonymous with his rich, dark complexion, a visual representation of his cultural roots. But around 2010, fans watched in disbelief as his skin lightened to an almost ghostly pallor, sparking outrage and speculation. Kartel admitted to using skin-bleaching creams, though he denied more extreme measures. Alongside his altered complexion came a radical shift in style. Eccentric hairstyles, flamboyant outfits, and a persona that seemed worlds apart from the artist fans once knew. The transformation wasn't just physical. It felt like a rejection of the very identity that had propelled him to fame. While some dismissed it as a personal choice, others saw it as a troubling commentary on colorism and self-perception in the entertainment world. Cardi B. From stripper to global superstar, a transformation for the ages. Before the diamond-studded outfits and chart-topping hits, Cardi B was just Belcalis Almanzar, a girl from the Bronx with big dreams and a natural girl-next-door look. But in 2014, still grinding as an exotic dancer, she made a pivotal decision: breast implants. That choice marked the beginning of a jaw-dropping evolution. As her career skyrocketed, so did her enhancements. Butt lifts, liposuction, and filler-refined lips transformed her into the hourglass phenomenon we know today. Her face, too, underwent a subtle but striking refinement, with sharper cheekbones and bolder makeup amplifying her star power. Critics called it excessive, fans called it iconic. For Cardi, though, it was never about conforming. It was about crafting an image as fearless and unapologetic as her music. Teddy Pendergrass, the voice that couldn't be silenced. Teddy Pendergrass wasn't just an R&B legend. He was the embodiment of soulful magnetism, with a voice that could command arenas and a presence that oozed confidence. But on March 18, 1982, a catastrophic car accident severed his spinal cord, leaving him paralyzed from the neck down. The man who once exuded physical power was now confined to a wheelchair, his body frail and dependent. Yet, in the face of unimaginable adversity, Teddy's spirit remained unbroken. His voice, though softer, still carried the weight of his legacy, and his dignity in the face of suffering inspired millions. His story wasn't just one of loss. It was a testament to the indomitable power of the human spirit. Chadwick Boseman, the hero who fought in silence. Chadwick Boseman wasn't just an actor. He was a symbol of strength, embodying King T'Challa in Black Panther, with a regality that resonated globally. But behind the scenes, starting in 2016, Boseman waged a private war against colon cancer. As the world marveled at his superhero physique, Chadwick was enduring grueling treatments that sapped his energy and withered his body. By the time the public noticed his gaunt frame and sunken eyes, the disease had already taken a devastating toll. His final performances were acts of sheer will, a silent testament to his courage. When he passed in 2020, the world mourned not just the loss of an actor, but the passing of a real-life hero who fought until his last breath.